Well, hello and good morning to everyone out there. It is another wonderful version of our infamous Training Tuesdays. Today we've got something special for you. It's a little bit, more of an intermediate to advanced use case here, but something that's super powerful. A lot of people are after, a lot of people use, and that is membership sites. So today we're going to learn how to make members-only sites with Ontraport. We're going to teach you how to use Ontraport Pages, WordPress, and PilotPress to quickly build a site that generates recurring income. So that's what we're going to do. Just to give you a little bit of info and insight. Obviously, everybody knows our brand new wonderful landing page editor, Ontraport Pages. I have gone through and I've created a bunch of pages ready for this. We're also going to use WordPress, which I'm on right now. I've created a WordPress site, and then we're going to use our PilotPress plugin, which plugs right into WordPress, and it is the thing that actually offers the functionality for your members to be able to log in, for your members to be able to have access to certain pages and not others, all that jazz. So I'm going to scroll down here and give you a little bit more insight. So PilotPress is pretty amazing, offers some of the best flexibility on the market. You can easily give users different permissions at different speeds. So for example, you might want some members to only get new content once per month, whereas your high-paying customers should have access to everything. So this is something that we actually do see a lot. If you come in and you're paying, a monthly fee, $10 a month, then we'll probably slowly drip content out to you. But if you're the type of person who really wants to jump in, get your hands on all the content that you can immediately, then we'd want to give you full access immediately, right? So you can do that with PilotPress. You can do that. You can also, this third item here is you can grant access on user interaction. So that's something that is super cool that I would guess not a lot of people use, but it's a really, really good feature. One of the main use cases that I could give you for that would be, let's say you've got a training site and you are offering classes. Well, maybe you only want to give your users access to the first training module and not let them proceed forward until they complete some sort of test or some sort of survey. Got the power of Ontraport Forms. You can create your survey and your test with those, and then we can automate based off of that. So I'm going to show you how to do all of that in here today. But first, just to jump on in, let's see how to set up WordPress. So when you come into your account, we're going to go to administration, and then it is an advanced feature. And so I've actually come in here and I've already turned it on. So just slide that little slider, and then you've got WordPress. Once you do that, you'll be able to come back to integrations here, and you'll see this new option for WordPress website. That doesn't show up usually. You have to actually go into advanced features and turn it on to be able to see that. So make sure you do that first. Then once we click on WordPress website, we can create a new WordPress website right here. We can either create a new or integrate in an existing WordPress site, and doing this allows you to add your URL. And as long as you've went into your name server as add us, then this should all work. Actually, scratch that part. You don't need to host your name servers for this. You only have to host your name servers and point them at us for landing pages. For this, all you have to do is add your URL, and then you'll get a API key or API ID, and then API key down here, which you'll be able to add into your PilotPress plugin. That's all you're going to have to do to actually integrate your site. So that's pretty simple. The other option that you have here is obviously to launch a new WordPress site with us. And to do that, you just click the button, you give it a name, and then you add, whatever custom subdomain you want, or in this case, this is where you would go ahead and set up your name server. So as it says here, if you own your own domain and you want us to host it for you, simply type it in below and then make sure your domain's name servers are pointed to ns1.ontraport.com and ns2.ontraport.com. So that's a little bit more advanced, but this is a possibility. Then what you'll see below here are the membership levels that you want to be able to offer with your site. So let's just jump right into the one that I already created for today. We'll take a look at Template Tuesday, and you'll see that I've got immediately 3 basic levels. So I'm going to show you today how we can utilize the 3 different levels in a different way. You'll also see that I've got 3 different week levels in here, and that is so that we can drip content out slowly by the week. So you'll see we've got Basic, Plus, Pro, Week 1, Week 2, Week 3. So that is all the setup you need to do for your WordPress site. In this case, I launched it directly with WordPress. So you'll see that I'm hosted on one of our subdomains here. When you do this, you'll get a little pop-up that tells you the name of your site, gives you your username and password, and then you can go right to it. In this case, I will just go right to the back end here. So once you're logged in, this is what you'll see. This is standard WordPress, obviously, or not obviously for those of you who haven't used WordPress before, but it's pretty simple if you're just using WordPress and Pages to do everything on your site. So first things first that I did was I went to plugins and I added the Ontraport Pages plugin. So this does not come standard when you add a new WordPress site. I went in there and I just hit add new. I went and did a little search for Ontraport Pages. And it came back. All you have to do is click install and then activate, and you are good to go. And then you'll get this little menu item here. The other thing that I did was I went to settings and I had to paste in my app ID and API key. So that is listed right here. So all you have to do is copy and paste those settings in there. Once you set those 2 things up, now you've created the integration between Ontraport and WordPress so that we can pull in all your Ontraport pages here. Also, if you're setting up your WordPress website with us and you're letting us host it, then we'll automatically install the PilotPress plugin for you, which manages all the membership functionality. And we'll also install the application ID and API key for you automatically, so you don't have to do any of that. But in the case that you didn't and you're installing it manually, you would have gone same thing, straight to plugins, install plugins, add new, and then you come back here, add your application ID and API key. That's all you have to do to integrate both of these things, and that opens up a whole world of functionality to you. All right, so the next thing that I did in here was I started to create a whole bunch of different pages for us, right? These are the main different pages that you would want for a membership site. Obviously, you'd have a lot more with your existing site. You'd probably have your home page and your features page where you kind of describe everything that you do, the services that you offer, the products that you offer. And then you'd have a pricing page, which you see that we've got here. And then, beyond that, you'd have some order pages where you'd have your order forms set up to process payment. And then obviously, once they order, you'd want a thank you page. And then once they get the thank you, you probably have an email. I'm gonna show you this whole thing. I'm gonna talk out this process of what this looks like, what the actual flow looks like. Ideally, a user comes to your site, right? You've experienced this yourself. A user comes to your site. They check it out. They're like, okay, that feature looks awesome. Let me go to the pricing page. They select their different pricing options. I did a quick little pricing page here. Like, okay, well, I guess we got Pro, Plus, and Pro. Should have changed that to Basic. But they check out all your different options. You'd be like, okay, I want Pro. Click Buy Now. Now I've got my checkout form. I'm just going to fill this out. We just do William +2 send pepper. A dummy gateway set up, so I can just add in 4111111 and this, and it should process. And then it should process my order. I can see I'm purchasing Membership Pro for 20 bucks a month over here. And then I created a thank you page. And on the thank you page, the key thing here is that we deliver the username and password to your users in the email. And I'll show you how to do all that. So they'll grab that out of their email, and then they'll click in login here. I added a little plugin called Login Logo, where you can just take your logo and it replaces the WordPress logo, and then you would log in right here to your site and you would have access. So that is a flow. Again, home, somebody checks around, they go to your pricing page, they sign up, they get an email, they get taken to the thank you page. Thank you page tells them to go check their email. They check their email. Inside their email, they'll see the details that have their username and password. They'll come back here, they'll enter the username and password, and then they will log right into your site. And I will show you all those next parts now. So let's back out of this. All right, so let's see here. The next main thing is a campaign. You're going to want to set up a campaign, and this is where all of the magic happens. So it's a fairly large campaign when you just first look at it. There's a number of things that we're doing here. Let me just kind of zoom back out so I can give you an overview. But the long story short here is I've got a couple triggers set up for product is purchased. So product is purchased, membership basic, product is purchased, membership plus, product is purchased, membership pro. So in this case, let's say I wanted 3 different membership levels. And with those different levels, I wanted to provide access to different areas of the site. And give certain users more access than others, et cetera, et cetera. So the very first things to do are to set up your triggers here. Product is purchased. So the trigger that we've got, product is purchased, I've got set to membership basic. That's the product that we've got for that. You'll see the same thing for plus, and then the same thing for pro. So what happens is when somebody purchases, so when they fill out that order form and they purchase Pro, then we're going to immediately give them WordPress membership access. And this is one of our more advanced elements. Here, I'm actually going to deconstruct this so you can just see, and we do this on the fly. Just copy this one back. I'm going to deconstruct one of the other ones. Change that back to Pro really quick. All right, let's deconstruct basic. Delete, let's delete this item and everything below it. All right, so the logic that I've got kind of going on here is that regardless of who you are, whether you're basic, plus, or pro, and you're coming in, you're all going to get immediate access to that level. Then you're going to get the welcome email that's going to provide the username and password. And then you're going to get the access to the first week's worth of content. And then we're going to send them an email that tells them, look, you've got access to week 1. Then we're going to wait for 7 days. And then we're going to give them access to week 2, send them another email telling them that, wait another 7 days, access to week 3 and so forth. And you can just replicate that as many times as you want. But let's just set this up for basic here. So basic, we're basically saying when somebody purchases a basic product, let's go to the advanced tab. We're going to give WordPress membership access. And then in here, what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the site that we set up. So in this case, it's Tuesday for Training Tuesday. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to select the membership permission that I created before. And so now we're giving membership permission here. And again, just to come back and link the dots here for you guys, to create those original membership permissions, you're going to come to your WordPress website. You're going to hit template, the Tuesday or whatever your site's name is. And this is where we're going to create these. You can add more on the fly if you want to. Now I've got an empty one, but this is where you're going to set up all of your membership terms first. So then we're going to come back here. We gave access to the basic perm. Then we're going to send them the email that basically says, here's your username and password. So I've got an email template that I already created. Let's check this thing out. So I just created a very, very basic email here. I put my little logo on the top. I created a quick little image. Then I said, you've got access. Here's your username and password. And then what you'll see here are some custom merge fields that we use to merge in a specific username and password for each and every user. And this is obviously different for every user, so that each person has their own username and password, obviously. So the way to do this is, just take these back out. So I've obviously created this part, right? I created the link so that you could link right to the login page. But then I come up here to my merge fields, and then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to look for my website, and then I'm going to add where's my username? There's my username. Then I'm going to add password. And I'm going to save that. And then save that. Then I've got my email ready to go. If we preview it, it's just going to show you the merge fields. But what will happen is when the user gets this merge field is obviously replaced with their username and password. So again, just to reiterate, product is purchased, give membership access, send an email with their username and passwords, and then I'm going to do a quick little go-to. And the reason I'm just doing this go-to is because I want all 3 levels to basically get the drip content. The difference here for the different levels is I may give my basic users access to a different area in my site from my plus users, from my pro users, but I want all of these users just to jump on and get the drip content. So I'm setting the go-to on both sides so that all 3 levels, basic, plus, and pro, they get their same email, they get their specific access. So basic's getting their basic access, plus is getting their plus access, pro is getting their pro access, then they get the email. I could have probably done the go-to actually up here. In fact, let me just do that just so that I can be correct with this thing. I mean, the only nice thing about having separate emails is that you could customize your email to be like, hey, basic users, these are all the things that you're going to get. That's probably actually a better experience. Now that I think about it, I'm going to leave it as is. I'm going to go back to the go-to here, connect it back up. But I do want all of these users to get access to week 1. So again, I'm just coming in here, I'm selecting my site, I'm going to select week 1, hit done. So now you get week 1 access here. send an email, membership week 1. I don't think I have anything set up. We'll just create one. I'll probably just use the feedback template. It's great, very simple and perfect for what we need. Just switch out my logo here real quick. Memberships. And if I wanted to, I could change out the image. And then I would say, hi, first name, welcome, here's week 1. And I'd probably give them a little link to here's, let's say, just so you are aware, access to week 1 is now available for you. Click the link here to go right to your course or class. And then I would add, it goes here. Obviously, I don't have that yet, but I would do that later. Let me just turn off these notifications so that we don't get interrupted here. All right, let's take out this piece. So that's just a very, very basic email saying, hey, you now have access, go check it out here, right? We hit save, we come back, and that's pretty much as simple as that. And then what you want to do is you want to wait 7 days until you give them access to week 2, and then wait another 7 days for week 3. So that's what's going on the campaign side of things, right? Let me show you what this looks like on the WordPress side of things. So I come to Ontraport Pages here, and what I can do is I can simply click Add New, add whatever my page name is. I'm just going to do a demo one just to show you because I've already set all of these up. And then I'm going to select the actual template that I want to use. So let's say it's the home page, for example. Then all I have to do is hit publish. And that would publish. Here, let me just do it so I can show you. So there we go. We've got the home page set up on your WordPress site. That's using the Ontraport page. Now, one other thing that you'll notice in here is we've got this lovely little widget over here called Pilot Press Options. And in Pilot Press Options is where all of those membership permissions are that we originally set up when we came over here. So you'll see that all those 6 options are replicated right here. Then we have an option that says show navigation. So if you're using a WordPress menu and you're just using, primarily a WordPress site, you're not using a, all Ontraport pages to do this, then you can quickly and easily add this page right into your navigation menu. So that's what that checkbox does there. And then let's say you did set up one of these permissions and somebody doesn't have permission, you can set your on error page. So in this case, I would always set that up to your sign up page because you want to basically re-promote your program. Or maybe I would do the, the pricing page, or, really it should probably be the, the main sales page that you've got to sell this product or service that you're offering membership access to, right? So that's more or less how this works. Now let me come back in here, and what we'll see, let me just trash this really quick. So then what we'll see is that I've created pages for a number of different uses. I have the home page, which obviously we need the home page to the site. Something that a lot of people don't know how to do. So I'm just going to show you this really quick here, but super important is how to make a particular Ontraport page be the home page of your site. And it's hidden behind this setting here called reading. So when you come into WordPress and you go to settings and you click on reading, what happens is, because WordPress is a blogging platform, it's always set to your latest post, because it's always showing you, generally 9 times out of 10, when you install your theme, you'll have your blog articles right on the home page. And so what that's doing is it's basically showing you all your latest posts. But if you want it to go to a specific page, then you're going to click a static page. And when you do that, you'll see that you have all the different Ontraport pages that we've set up over here available to you now. It'll also show you any of your actual pages as well. But in this case, I wanted to create a home page, and then I set that here. And then when I come to visit the site, you'll see the URL is just the primary domain. We don't have any forward slashes or anything. And you get to see your Ontraport page right on your home page. So that's how to do that. So once you've done this, now we've got the home page set up. I'm linking basically here, when I say get started, to our pricing page. So all I had to do for that was I had to go into Ontraport Pages and then find out, wrong tab, find out the URL of my pricing page, which I did here. So I copy and pasted that, and I made that button link right to that page. And that's how we got to pricing. So then the very next thing was I linked these buttons up to the order form pages. And what you'll notice is that we've changed domains here. The key thing to note about this is that I needed to be able to change domains so that I could host my order forms. If you try to host your order forms on a non-secure page, which is non-SSL, so that would mean just a standard HTTP. In this case, ours will just automatically redirect here, but you would see a big, actually I've got it set up over here. I'll just show you this just in case you ran into this. Because this site is not SSL, then I get this little thing telling me here that forms that accept sensitive data like credit cards cannot be used on insecure pages. So in this case, I wanted to be able to accept credit cards. So in the meantime, because I don't have my SSL cert installed, I set up these pages on one of Ontraport subdomains, and I selected one of the secure ones because we've got all of those available to you as well. So that's what I'm doing here. So let's go take a look at this Ontraport page. I'm going to publish these changes really quick just so our campaign is live. All right, so let's take a look at the pro sales page. So over here, I'm going to navigate to the gear, and then I'm going to come to payment settings. And to test all this out, you want to set a dummy gateway. And that's what let me set up the 4111 and then the 3 sets of 4 ones, the dummy gateway card number that we use. So I'm basically setting that for my payment gateway. And then the product that I added here is I selected this. So I'm just going to remove it and re-add it so I can show you. So I did Pro, and then I came over here and I said, make this a subscription. So now it's saying $20 per month. We can make this per day, per week, per quarter, per year. Obviously, per month is generally the standard. And that's pretty much all you need to set. Now, there's obviously some other options here. This isn't a video about the sales form, so I'm not going to go too much into that. but you can set your taxes, set shipping methods. You can create new custom invoice templates, which is awesome. Make your invoices look exactly like you need to. And then if you're doing this monthly, you probably want to hit send invoices for every recurring payment, right? So we'll just do that here. And that's all I have to do. The only other thing is if I come to form settings, then I added a custom URL for Template Tuesday, App Center, thank you. So coming back here again, I created my thank you page. I just hit add new, create thank you. Then I selected the thank you page here. I published it, and then I got my URL, came back over here into the form settings, and I added that as my custom URL. So again, when we fill this out, that is why we go to that thank you page rather than anywhere else. We save this. Oh yeah, we do want to publish. Our autosave feature telling us that we got to publish some changes here. All right, so now we've got, gone through homepage, pricing, and then your sales pages. Again, they show up here. I added them before. We really don't need to do this anymore, so I'm just going to trash these. I always like to keep things as clean as possible. Makes things easier for sure. So now we've done our home page, done our pricing page. Pricing pages linked to our sales pages with our order forms. And then our sales pages linked to our thank you page. And that should be all we need as far as the pages are concerned for just getting into the site. So now let's come back and take a look at campaign one last time here. So we'll see some numbers because I've already set some people up on, or I tested this out myself, I should say. Obviously we added a new element here, so we're not seeing the same number, but we're seeing that this is slightly working. So let's just test this out one more. I'm coming over here to my other tab just to see my emails. You probably can't see this over here. All right. So I'm going to bring my email in. I'm going to open up my email so you can see the email I received. So here was the email that I see here. Here's your username and password, and it actually populated that right in. So now I've got my username and password that I can use to test the site. Now, because I'm logged in my current browser session here, what I want to do to test all this stuff out is open an incognito tab. So I'm going to open incognito. I'm going to come back to the site. Go to member login. Now I've got a place to add in my username and password. And as I log in, I've now got it routing to, oh, actually, there we go. First thing I need to fix. Let me drag this window back over. So it's taking me right to the home page. Now this is a setting in PilotPress. So if I come to PilotPress, and I've got a couple different settings here. What I can choose is post-login redirect settings. So when I log in, what this is basically saying is when I log into WordPress, where do I want to go? Now customers are able to go to one place and your partners are able to go to another place. Just to touch upon this really quick, we have partners or affiliates. And what I can do is I can say, all right, if you're an affiliate, go to one location. and then customers go to another. And this is really nice for a bunch of different use cases, but I won't get too far into that today. So what I would do in this case is I would set customers to redirect to my members only page, right? So I'll save that, come back over here. I'm going to try to relog in. Let me get my username and password again. Password. Oops. Oh, this is probably because I was logged in before. So let me just log back out one more time. Let's try this one more time here. That's odd. Check my settings again. Pilot press. Customers redirect to, yep, so that's set correctly. What is going on here? Let's see. I wonder if it's a cache setting. Let me try and just, this is an advanced setting you don't need to worry about. Unless you run into a similar issue where you can basically, there's a number of things that we cache so that we can make things more speedy. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to flush that cache. I'll log back out. Grab my username and password one more time here. Weird. Not sure why it's taking you here. That seems like it might be a bug. Let's just see what happens when I hit update profile. Does it take me anywhere else? No. Odd. So I will look into this further, and if it is a bug, I will get it fixed, obviously. And if not, then I will update in the comments with what the actual issue was. Anyways, coming back to this page, once I'm logged in, I'm going to be able to go to members only, I think is the URL that we had set up for the page. Oh, it looks like it did the redirect. Let's come take a look and see exactly which page it was. Members only. Oh, it looks like I didn't have permissions to that page. So let's jump back in here. I should have Basic Plus and Pro access, so let's see what is going on here. Odd. Go ahead and change this to our pricing page rather than that other one. All right, so let's take a look at the campaign. Let's try and do a little troubleshooting on the fly here. Oh, that's right, we updated this element. So it's not giving me access to Pro. So I need to actually sign back up for this again. So let's just run back through this as if we're a brand new user trying this out. Refresh this page. William plus 3 at some pepper. $2020. All right, so if this worked, then I should be able to refresh this. And looks like it's giving me access. And it sent the email, and it gave me access to week 1. So if I go into my contact record, and this can be helpful. Let's go to William 3 at San Pepper. We're going to go to memberships. And then I should see that I've got access to Pro and week 1 automatically. Now, this is a very helpful thing. If for some reason your automation didn't fire correctly, maybe you misconfigured it, maybe something else happened, you can always go right to the contact record and jump right into this section and add membership levels for your clients on the fly. You can also do things like reset their username and set their password up here. Obviously, you generally don't want to do that because if they got it automatically generated, then that's the more secure way to go, and they've already got that. You wouldn't want to change it unless they're requesting a change. But that functionality is there and available to you. So now I'm going to jump back in here. Let's see if I got a third email. It should come through on this thread. The emails are queued in campaigns, so it can take a couple minutes. I'll come back. All right, so let's, while we're waiting for that email to come in, let's just go through and take a look at how we're setting up the actual drip content. So as you saw before, they're getting access to week 1 immediately and to the pro level. So for week 1, you would want to come in here and looks like I've got, and I'll show you why I've got pro set up in a second. But week 1, obviously, I've set we're going to pricing on error. So because they immediately get access to week 1, and we've set week 1 here, anybody who logs in with that access will be able to immediately go to week 1. Now let's go to week 2. Now with week 2, you'll see that we have week 1 and week 2 selected because obviously you want all the people who have access to week. Actually, let me think about this. I think I did this backwards. So yeah, so week 2, you'd only want to give people who have access to week 2. So that's the permission we're setting, and then we're going to go to pricing here. Update that. And then week 3, we'd want to give access to anybody who's got week 3. Pricing page, I'm also going to select Pro here. And let me explain why now. So let's say my use case here was that I want basic and my plus members to get their content dripped out to them 1 week at a time. However, my pro users, as I said before, they're the ones who paid for everything. So I want to give them access to everything. And that's all you have to do. You simply just have to come in here, click on Pro for all of the different things that you want Pro people to have. And then immediately when they log in, they're going to have access to all that content. Hope that makes sense. Let me know in the questions if it doesn't. All right, let's see. Did I get that email? Looks like I did. Got my new email. Did I not set that? Okay, let's use this one. This looks like the correct contact. Where was my incognito page? Did I close that out? All right, let's open a new one. Let me do this. Different behavior altogether this time. That is weird here. Let's go to members only. And again, no access. Let's see what is going on here. So I have access to Pro and week 1. And then if I come over and take a look at members only, I have access to Pro, so I should be able to access this page. Let's just try this. Let's try and flush our cache one more time just to see if there's something that's sticky here. Interesting. All right, well, let's troubleshoot the only way I know how. Let's take off all of the permissions and make sure I'm able to get there. Now members only. There we go. So there's our first members only page. I'll show you a little bit more about this. So let's just, while we're troubleshooting this, let's just add just Pro now, because we know that we've got the Pro permission. Looks like this user is not getting recognized as having Pro permissions. So again, let me check one more time. Have the Pro permission here, have week 1. So it seems like I might be running into a bug, unfortunately. Either that or some sort of timing issue, but it seems like it must be a bug to me. But long story short, just for the purpose of showing you how to set this all up, I would want to give access to Basic, Plus, and Pro. I would want to give all of those people access to the members only page. And what I did here is when you first log in, the idea is that, you know, a lot of people will have a overview video about how to work, you know, how the membership works, what they're delivering you, you know, what the value is, and then they'll have access. They'll have some like buttons that link to the individual drip content pages. Now, obviously, if you're Pro, you'd have access to all of this. If you aren't, if you're one of the other ones, you could get to week 1, but when you try to go to week 2, then you'd be redirected to another page. And what I like to do, you know, for users that are actually logged in trying to access these pages, is I'll set up a different type of page that basically says, look, you don't have access to this content yet. If you want access to it immediately, then upgrade to Pro. So it's a great place where you can, upsell your Pro membership and get people right into Pro that way. So then all you have to do on these is link these buttons right to the individual class pages. So I just built out a very basic class page here. Week 1, building membership automation, has a quick video on here. And then has a little bit of text telling them what to do. And then just take a look at the permissions on this page. You'll see that I've got, actually we just need week 1, we don't need Pro on there. So anybody who's got the week 1 permission will have access. And then if not, they're going to go to the pricing page. And again, it's the same for all the different weeks. Oh, that's why we had Pro. My bad on that. It's because Pro can access everything. So that's the skinny on that piece. Now, another piece of this puzzle is what happens in the case that somebody, they were able to pay to begin with, but second month comes around, we go to try and bill them, but they no longer, but their card comes back declined. That means we have to make it so that they no longer have access to the site, right? So we have a trigger for this. Come back to edit mode, just so we can take a look at all these settings here. So in this case, I would basically say open order with any product is charged but declined, and that's the one that we're after. So anytime that any of these people get charged but decline, then let's put them down this path. And what happens here is we basically say, let's update this contact. So I'm just going to show you, this is the update contact element that we're adding here. And we're updating a field. And when you first come here, you'll just see this list of all the fields. In fact, it won't let me clear it out. But what you'll do is you'll just navigate right to the bottom. You go to website subscribers, you're going to select your site, and then you're going to click on status. And then you'll have an option down here for status. And the status is disabled or enabled. And what this does is it keeps all of your membership permissions. So if somebody's Pro, they'll still have they'll still have their Pro permissions, but we're going to disable that so that they can't log into your site. And this is better. Some people may say that you should just remove the permissions and re-add them. This is better because then you don't have to add all the logic to your campaign for everything that would go into that. All you have to do is simply say, all right, status is disabled, and then we're going to send them an email that basically says, oops, your payment was not successful. They'll get that, and then hopefully they'll update their payment. Then once a day, we'll check for that. We've got a trigger here for any time that an open order with any product is charged and successful. And then what I wanted to do here was only do this for people who are currently disabled. So I'm basically saying website subscribers, the exact same thing as before, website subscribers, Tuesday site, template Tuesday site. And I'm basically saying status is equal to disabled. Then we want to update them so they're enabled. Pretty straightforward there. Send them an email, say, yay, your payment was successful, you rock, you did everything you need to do, and then you're reinstated. So disabling and enabling the membership is what will allow you to keep the existing membership permissions on your users, but disable and enable the access to their site. I hope that makes sense. That is pretty much the skinny of how this logic works. I apologize that we couldn't get the this actually working for you. Let me just try one more time, see if it's some sort of a timing thing. I doubt that it is, but we can take one more peek at it. So let's see. Members only. Nope, it looks like I'm still going to pricing. So again, I'll let you know in the comments what exactly is going on here. If it is a bug, and if it's not a bug, what I did wrong. And I think that's pretty much it for now. Questions? We'll take the next 10 minutes or so and answer your questions on the fly. Ooh, look at this. We've already got a bunch of questions in here. All right, so Eric said, do the new WordPress be hosted with Ontraport, or do I need a separate WordPress on a separate ISP? No, you can totally use Ontraport's WordPress installation. And again, if you go back to the beginning of the video after, I kind of show you how to do that. I can just do it, really quick here. When you first come into your Ontraport account, you're going to basically come to Advanced Features. You're going to enable WordPress here. Then you're going to click on Integrations, and you'll have this option. And you come to a collection of WordPress sites. Now you can just say, choose new WordPress site. I want a brand new WordPress site. I want to use, Ontraport's domain. You have App Center. Then you can add your own subdomain, or again, you can use point your name servers for your own domain, add us, and do it that way. Alternatively, you can hit this and you can integrate an existing site. So it's up to you. There's some pros and cons for both. The pros for both is for using Ontraport is that simply it's fast, it's easy. You can get something up really quick and start jamming immediately. If you're the type of person who is going to really pimp out your WordPress site and add all sorts of custom themes and plugins and integrations, then I would recommend that you get your own WordPress server and that you just do the integration with us. We do lock down certain things. You don't have access to edit your core files. All you have access to do is all the standard stuff that you can do with WordPress. So hopefully that answers that question. And then looks like Matt Joe, looks like you, awesome Matt, thank you for giving the feedback there. Christian, thank you so much for covering this. It's the most important question we have while moving on to Ontraport. Awesome, glad to hear that. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me in a direct message on Facebook. I'm happy to answer any of your questions that way. Let's see. We'll have a very close look at this by tomorrow, and certainly would love any kind of information on how to integrate Ontraport with WordPress pages and what the possible limitations are for this. So yeah, that's this whole video here. Again, I apologize that we weren't able to see it all working, but if you go back and watch this video, you should have access to all the information that you need to understand it conceptually, at least. Also, we'll try and share this campaign with you so that you can at least have that as a starter template, and then you can go from there. And then it looks like Eric basically said here, do you know if SSL is in the pipeline? I do not. I believe that we had talked about it, but I'm not positive that we are doing SSL for our WordPress sites. Obviously now, thinking that through with Google's new changes, we may have to relook at that. So I'll get back to you on that. That's a good question. I'll get back to you on that. Seems like we should look into that if we're going to continue to do all of our own hosting. Any other questions? Looks like that might be a no. Feel free to post comments attached to this video. I'll get to them as I can. Like I said, if you want to direct message me, I'm happy to answer questions for you as I can. I think that's about it. Hope you learned something today, and best wishes until the next Training Tuesday. Take care.